Hi, I'm Hayley from Parallel Coaching, and in this video I'm going to teach you 3 steps to be able to write a fitness smart goal. This is not only appropriate for you if you are working towards your PT portfolio, but also really appropriate if you're working with clients and you just want to see them get a result, want to see them get the goal. So important to be absolutely laser-like clear on that goal, and SMART is the way forward to do that. Step number 1, the bigger picture. So there's no point starting with the tiny part. We want to start with the biggest part of the picture. So what you need to do is ask your client what they want to achieve, not in the next week, but overall, what is their great big aspirations that they have? They might choose something that is like a year or so away, or they might choose something that is 4 months onwards. That's the kind of time frame we're looking for. Anything more than 4 months is a long-term goal. So they might want to look good for a wedding, they want to get fitter, they'll probably have a fairly generalised, broad answer. Your job is to specify that and dive deep. So there are 3 questions that you can ask to kind of dive in deeper and find out more and be more and more specific about their goal. The first is really straightforward. It's why do you want to achieve this goal? Why do you want to get fitter? Why do you want to have better definition in your arms? Then the second one is what will having this achievement allow you to do or allow you to feel? So now we're starting to dial into, okay, well, why? But in relation to what will obtaining this goal allow you to do or feel? Now they might turn around and say, oh, well, I will feel more confident, I'll have more confidence, or it might be along the lines of, well, if I'm fitter, I'll be able to play with the grandchildren. And then the third question you can ask is that what will the impact be for you in the future if you achieve this goal? And this last question is an emotional tie-in. So it gives you more leverage later on when you're looking at really helping your client achieve that goal and maintaining their habit changes as they work forwards. But it allows you to have a little bit more leverage to see beyond this long-term goal to know really what their even longer-term goal is and really help them. So they are the 3 questions you can use to dive in deeper and get a real big picture of what it is they want to achieve and why they want to achieve it. Step 2, chunk it up. So you have the long-term goal and the long-term aspirations of what your client wants to achieve. We now need to chunk that down into short and medium-term goals. And they don't need to be linear breakdowns of that long-term goal. They need to just be stepping stones that will help them achieve that longer term goal. So what do I mean? If, for example, the long-term goal is weight loss, let's keep it really simple, and they want to lose 20 kilos over 20 weeks. Let's keep that really straightforward. You've kind of given them a set time frame, which is really important before we start chunking. So you've given them this set time frame, or they've helped you find that, to lose the 20 kilos within 20 weeks. Now, you've got the time frame, then you could chunk it linear, which means that you can then go, okay, well, we'll lose 10 kilos in 10 weeks and 5 kilos in 5 weeks. So you have this linear chunk. But the problem with that is it's not that as inspiring for your client, and it doesn't necessarily tell you what your objectives are or how you're going to achieve it. So what you can do is put stepping stones in place. Now, the stepping stones will mean that although you might be measuring for weight loss the whole way through, you're actually going to focus on something different at each level. So for example, weight loss is the long-term goal. Then we make medium-term goal maybe about achieving exercise 4 times a week. So going to the gym 4 times a week. Really clear. It's going to help them with the weight loss, but it also means that it's a different type of goal. It's more of an activity-based goal and a process goal rather than about the weight itself. But it will help them achieve that long-term goal. Really important. Then we could chunk it to the short-term goal being around nutrition, for example. So what dietary changes could they make in 1 to 4 weeks that will allow them to help achieve that long-term goal of the weight loss? So both the short-term and the medium-term goal relate to the long-term goal. They help achieve it, but they don't have to be linear breakdowns. And if you avoid a linear breakdown, you will actually get more from the programming because it will feel like you're sculpting different chapters on the lead up to achieving that long-term goal. So once you have an idea of your short, medium and long term and the types of things that you want in there, you now need to add a time frame. Now what we recommend for a short term goal is that is 1 to 4 weeks. So something they can achieve by week 4 or by week 2. Be really clear what will they change and by when. Then medium term goal is kind of good between 4 weeks and about 16 weeks generally. So you got 1 month to 3 months to achieve a medium term goal, and you would set that as a set date of 1 month they will have achieved X. Then you have the long term goal, which is anything from 3 months onwards. So you might choose a 1 year, you might choose 6 months, and that will depend on the goal they've chosen and how far they have to go to get that goal. So now you have an idea of what they want to achieve long term, an idea of what they want to achieve medium term, and an idea of what they want to achieve short term. Step 3, be smart. So we're talking about SMART goals, so let's now break down what a SMART goal is. Now some people see this as being red tape or tick boxes, but it really is a great opportunity to have laser-like focus on what your client wants to achieve and have absolute clarity as to when they want to achieve it and is it achievable. So that's what we're going to dial in on, is the SMART goal. So pick one of the 3 goals you've already set. So for example, the short-term goal. Let's take the short-term goal. And let's say that they want to achieve eating more vegetables as part of their short-term goal, or they want to cut out certain snacks. Take your specific short-term goal. I'm going to use to eat 5 vegetables per day. 5 fruit and veg every day. So what we need to do is we need to use the SMART acronym, and that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-framed. So let's start off with specific. This section is basically asking you to write out very specifically what that goal is. So for my vegetable goal, for a short-term goal, that would be for my client, so for Mary, to start eating 5 fruit and vegetables every single day for the first week that we're working together. I will measure this on the Monday or on the Sunday after the first week. So let's start with specific. And for my specific goal that we were talking about a minute ago with the vegetables, I would write in here, Mary is going to eat 5 vegetables every day for the next 2 weeks, and we will review this after the second week. So it's a short-term goal that lasts for 2 weeks, and all she needs to do is eat 5 vegetables every day for 2 weeks. I'm going to measure this using a food diary. So that's the type of thing I would write in that specific. I write what she's going to do, something that gives it a time frame, and something about measurability. That's what I need to write in that specific. That's laser-like focused. I could put a tick next to that and go, Mary achieved it, or a cross next to it, she didn't achieve it. It needs to be binary. It can't just be, she kind of feels a little bit more confident, because that's too subjective. It needs to be something that is like yes or no, did she achieve it or not? Then M is for measurability, or is it measurable? So, for example, with the fruit and vegetables, we were talking about that she's going to measure it using a food diary. Now that's perfect because I can check how much she's been eating or whether she's been eating fruit and vegetables throughout. Or she could use an app like MyFitnessPal. Or if you've got a weight-based goal, then the measurability might be to stand on some scales. Or it could be using some skin fold calipers if it's fat percentage. It could be doing a treadmill fitness test and seeing an increase in a VO2 max. But generally what is needed is you'll need a measurement at the beginning and a measurement at the end of that time frame that you've set. So for example, 2 weeks. All you need to do is say how you're going to measure it. I'm going to measure it using a food diary at week 0 and week 2, for example. Then A is achievable. So this is it achievable on a global national scale? It is absolutely achievable that people can eat 5 fruit and veg every day. But if I chose something in the line of, I want her to lose 1 stone inside 1 week, then it might not be actually physical achievable unless I cut off an arm. So what I actually need to do is to think about what is achievable on a global or national scale. So you might look at guidelines. So what's the guidelines for weight loss? 1 to 2 pounds a week, or that's half a kilo to a kilo if you work in kilos. So when you're looking at this is what is nationally achievable or for most people. So I would say in here, it is achievable for Mary to have 5 fruit and veg every day because this is in line with the guidelines. Straightforward. Or the NICE guidelines, or the Eat Well Plate guidelines. Okay, so you talk a bit about guidelines in there. Then R is for realistic. So now this is about, is it realistic for Mary, for your client? Is it realistic that they will make that change by the end of the time frame that you've set? So I go, it is realistic for Mary to be able to achieve this goal based on the fact she's already eating 3 vegetables per day, and there is opportunity for her to include it in the snacks rather than sugary chocolate bars. So I've already kind of said, well, it's realistic because, or it's realistic that Barry can do the extra exercise because he's going to substitute driving to work with cycling to work. So you can kind of break it down and say, why is it realistic for that specific client? And then T is about time. This is where you replicate, and I would write 2 weeks. So my time frame for Mary to have her changes to her nutrition is going to be 2 weeks. So what I would write in T is 2 weeks. So that is your SMART formula. Just follow that through. S is specific. Be really, really specific as exactly what they want to achieve. M is how you're going to measure it. A is it achievable overall, nationally, or in line with guidelines? R is it realistic for that specific client? And T is about the time frame that you've set for them to achieve it. Are you up for a challenge? My task for you is, if you write a SMART goal for a client and pop it in the comments box below, use the SMART structure using S equals then your specific statement, M equals your measurable statement, and then put that in the comments box below. I look forward to reading and replying to your SMART goals. So if you've got any questions about that as you're writing it, then just pop those in as well and I will answer them. Also, let me know, are you a qualified personal trainer that's looking to accelerate client results? Or are you training to be a personal trainer or fitness coach whereby you're looking to complete your portfolio and get all the boxes ticked? If you like this video, make sure you hit the little thumbs up button, share with your friends, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.